Hi students, today I am going to deal with earthquakes. Earthquake is one of the most destructive natural hazard. They may occur at any time of the year, day or night, with sudden impact and little warning. They can destroy buildings and infrastructure in seconds, killing or injuring the inhabitants. Earthquakes not only destroy the entire habitation but may destabilize the government, economy, and social structure of the country. An earthquake is a phenomenon that occurs without warning and involve violent shaking of the ground and everything over it. It results from the release of accumulated stress of the moving lithospheric or crustal plates. It is a sudden shaking of the earth crust. The impact of an earthquake is sudden and there is hardly any warning, making it impossible to predict. India has been divided into four seismic zones according to the maximum intensity of earthquake. Of this, zone 5 is the most active, which comprises of whole of northeast India, with the northern portion of Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, and Gujarat, Andaman, and Island, Nicobar and Island. India has highly populous cities, and the construction in the cities are not earthquake resistant. Globally, earthquakes result in a loss of about 50,000 lives every year. The entire Himalayan region is considered to be vulnerable to high intensity earthquakes of a magnitude exceeding 8.0 on the Richter scale and in relatively short span of about 50 years. Four such major earthquakes have occurred in the region. Next is the circulations inside Earth. The Earth is made up of three main layers: core, mantle, and crust. Convection current develop in the viscous mantle because of prevailing high temperature and pressure gradients between the crust and the core, like the convective flow of water when heated in a beaker. These convection currents result in a circulation of the Earth's mass. Hot molten lava comes out, and cold rock mass goes into the Earth. The mass absorbed eventually melts under high temperature and pressure and becomes a part of the mantle. The crust, this is where we live. The Earth's crust is made of continental crust and oceanic crust. If you look at a map of the world, you may notice that some of the continents could fit together like pieces of a puzzle. Next is plate tectonics. The Earth's crust is divided into 12 major plates which are moved in various directions. The plates collide, pull apart, or scrape against each other. Each motion causes different type of features on the Earth's crust. The word tectonic refers to changes in the crust because of plate interaction. Pangaea broke into pieces that slowly drifted into the present configuration of continents. The convective flows of mantle material caused the crust and some portion of the mantle to slide on the hot molten outer core. This sliding of Earth's mass takes place in pieces called tectonic plates. The surface of the Earth consists of seven major tectonic plates and many smaller ones. What are tectonic plates made of? Plates are made of lithosphere. The lithosphere is made up of the crust and the upper part of the mantle. These plates move in different direction and at different speeds from those of neighboring ones. First one is convergent boundaries. Sometimes the plate in the front is lower then the plate behind it, it comes and collides. And the second is divergent boundaries, and third one is transform boundaries. Second one, sometimes two plates move away from one another. And the third is two plates move side by side along the same direction or in opposite direction. The convergent boundary has a peculiarity like at the Himalayas that sometimes neither of the colliding plates want to sink. The first one is convergent boundary, and next is transform, and the third one is divergent boundary. Elastic rebound theory. Tectonic plates are made of elastic but brittle rocky material. Hence, elastic strain energy is stored in them during the relative deformations that occur due to gigantic tectonic plate actions taking place in the earth. When the rocky material along the interface of the plates in the earth's crust reaches its strength, it fractures and a sudden movement takes place there. The interface between the plates where the movement has taken place suddenly slips and releases the large elastic strain energy stored in the rocks at the interface. The sudden slip at the fault causes the earthquake, a violent shaking of the earth, during which large elastic strain energy released spreads out in the form of seismic waves that travel through the body and along the surface of the earth. Other impacts of earthquakes includes blockage of or breakage of transport activities, interruption of water supply, breakage of sewage disposal system, loss of public utilities, for example, electricity, gas, and communications. What to do before an earthquake? Repair deep plaster cracks in ceiling and foundations. Get expert advice if there are signs of structural defects. And fasten shelves securely to work. Place large or heavy object on lower shelves. And next is hang heavy items such as pictures and mirrors away from bed and anywhere that people sit. And know the emergency telephone numbers such as doctor, hospital, the police, etc. And educate yourself and family members too. And develop an emergency communication plan. For example, in case family members are separated from one another during an earthquake, develop a plan for reuniting after the disaster. Ask an out of state relative or friend to serve as the family contact after the disaster. It is often easier to call long distance. Make sure everyone in the family knows the name, address, and phone number of the contact person. And what to do during an earthquake. If outdoors, then do not move from where you are. However, move away from buildings, trees, and utility wires. If you are in open space, stay there until the shaking stops. The greatest danger exists directly outside buildings. At axis and alongside exterior walls, most earthquake related casualties result from collapsing walls, flying glass, and falling objects. If you are in a moving vehicle, then stop as quickly as safety permits and stay in the vehicle. Avoid stopping near or under buildings, trees, and overpasses and utility wires. And avoid things that can fall, for example, fan, shelf, like that. And face away from windows. And do not light a match, do not move about or kick up dust. Cover your mouth with a handkerchief or clothing. And you keep away from beaches and low banks of rivers. Huge waves may sweep in. Be prepared to expect aftershocks. Turn off the water, gas, and electricity. And do not smoke and do not light matches or use a cigarette lighter. And do not turn on switches. If there is a fire, try to put it out. If you cannot, call the fire brigade. And if people are seriously injured, do not move them unless they are in danger. Immediately clean up any inflammable products that may have spilled, for example, alcohol, paint, etc. If you know that people have been buried, tell the rescue team and do not rush and do not worsen the situation of injured person or your own situation. And you must avoid places where there are loose electric wires and do not touch any metal objects in contact with them. And if your home is badly damaged, then you will have to leave it and collect water container, food, and ordinary and special medicines for person with, for example, for person with heart complaints and diabetes, etc. And do not re-enter badly damaged buildings and do not go near damaged structures. Thank you.